Those should still be all the same hands and everyone that's here. That's great. We've done a lot more with Jeansnet. I'm excited to tell you about our online education, what we're doing. Of course, everything that we do live, we do try to record for the cyber webs for prosperity's sake, and so you can share this with your teams while we do have our experts here live with us, which is really exciting. So we're going to keep this pretty short, maybe 15-ish minutes, 20 minutes, so just a few minutes each, guys. And I'm going to start with Dr. Nancy Miller-Ihli, who is going to be able to explain to us a little bit about some of the tools that her and her husband Kevin actually put together. We had no idea that they had such Excel spreadsheet skills as they do. And so I won't take all of Nancy's thunder, but Nancy, I want to just let you know that NutraMetrix so appreciates you. Can we give her a round of applause? And everyone online is also giving you a round of applause. But we really do appreciate what you've done because, we're powered by people, but really built on technology. So thanks for helping us out. So I'm just going to let you take the stage and just talk a little bit about what was wrong with Jeansnet, or what were some of the pitfalls, and what were you even seeing, as I know that you were using it extensively in your own business. Yeah, go for it.
So first of all, I think everybody understands that Jeansnet is incredibly powerful in terms of providing people with personalized nutrition recommendations. It's one thing to tell somebody, eat well, or get your sleep, or take a supplement, but if they know not only what to do, but why to do it, and that it's actually dictated by their genetics, they're much more likely to follow through, and they're going to get better results. They're going to be more compliant. And so I think education is key. But all Kevin and I did with the spreadsheet thing was to really automate what was already in place as a wonderful system. People just felt that they were spending a lot of time doing the processing of the reports and generating the bundles. The bundles are like an incredibly clever way to give people a whole regimen to support one aspect of their health. And I think people are maybe missing the boat in terms of being able to explain that to people. But there's also that individual who just wants to get started with one product. And that's okay too, right? Because what motivates is what we say, correct? So, some people just want to dip their toe in the water and figure out, how they can make a difference in their own health. So I'm just going to show you, since it's such a small group, how the actual spreadsheet thing works so that you can appreciate it. So when you get back the results from DeskBio, we now have an actual spreadsheet that you just put the data into. So if I were doing this with my colleague, and Brandy and I did one, and we did the sample Jeansnet report, which is downloadable in your back office, and what we found was that we were able to get through the report in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And I would call out the gene name, and Brandy would, I know.
Wait, can you guys repeat that? How many minutes? 3 minutes. 3 minutes and 4. Well, how much was it taking? How long was it taking people?
Doing it manually was taking typically more than an hour, to be honest. And I hate to admit this, but we had a group of experts, including my friend Val, and we had Susan Markowitz, and we had Julie Landseedel, and everybody did the sample report manually. And Sherry Black helped, and another colleague, Laura. Only one person got it right, and I was not that person.
Wow. Oh. You're the smartest person in that
No, I'm not the smartest, but I'm pretty analytical, and I'm pretty detailed, and so that scared me a little. But that's why we wanted to have a spreadsheet. We wanted something where once you got the data in there, it would just self-generate the necessary recommendations. So I would just call off the name of the gene, and Brandy would give me the variant. So if it was FAME2, she would say AA or GG or whatever the variant was, and you simply put a 1 in the appropriate column. When you're done with that, and as soon as you're done with that, guess what happens? Now you're going to have the bundle tally right there for you, giving the percentages for all the bundles. And Dr. D touched on this last night, but it's not necessarily all about just which bundle has the highest percentage. As she explained, genes cluster. And so you will see from time to time an individual who's having both mental health and weight loss, perhaps, or hormonal imbalance challenges. So this just gives you a really nice picture, but it does it right away, you guys, as soon as the data are in there. And so the next step would be lovely if DeskBio would just send that electronically. But so we'll just cross our fingers and hope for that.
I think we'll have more clout the more we get processed,
exactly.
Which is, up to you promoting it to your health professionals.
Well, and we still have that promo through the end of August where you can send in 3 to be processed for the price of 2. So all of the health professionals should be taking advantage of that, I think. And then the last thing that gets generated is what we call kind of a product recommendation report. The bundle tally and this are all in the same spreadsheet where you enter the ones, you just put a 1 in there and it'll generate this. And you'll see I didn't make it like bright green, and that's in part because we don't want to like scare people, and also it uses a lot of ink to do it that way. So we've got green, yellow, and red snips, and I love being able to show a patient or a client this, because then we can highlight the fact that yeah, it's not all bad. You've got some great gain genes and you've got some neutral genes, and even the red genes, they might not be being expressed. So here are things we can do to help turn the good stuff up and turn the bad stuff down. And it's totally up to the practitioner if they want to actually provide this sheet. I like to actually give it to the clients or patients because I feel like then they leave with something and they know what they're working on with their health. Now, people have asked us a couple questions, Sarah, like, oh, so are you going to break this down into heart health and whatever? That's already done for you on the bundle sheet. If you want to know what relates to cardiovascular health, you just look at the Cardio Shield bundle. Somebody else said to me, are you going to count up the number of times a product's recommended? No, we're not going to do that either, because our foundational products are daily essentials and omegas. And then what we really want a practitioner to be able to do is like circle on here and have a discussion with their patient about where they see themselves getting started. If they're not doing the whole bundle, then they can start with a couple of products.
This is really great, and one of the things is that we're making this so these tools are available for NutraMetrix consultants, so you can sit down with your prospective health professionals, take the sample report, take this, and sit side by side with them. So of course we'll come out with more videos and more things. This is brand new, but now we're finally, do you see as non-health professionals how we're empowering you to really show providers how Jeansnet works?
Yeah.
And I would
Okay, 2 of them. Wait. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, okay.
I would encourage everybody to go through the sample report, and we'll post this, on the Facebook group or something, so you know if you're getting the right answers. That will show you that you're using the tool correctly.
We'll do a lot of these if you want to jump on Zooms and we can practice it together. Who wants to practice it together? Yeah, me too. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Please give Nancy a round of applause for all of her work.
My real talent, though, comes in convincing my husband that he really needed to help us with this. And so he made me program it, but he showed me how to do it. I didn't even know you could do conditional programming and stuff in Excel. So big handout to Kevin back there, who really actually did the work.
Thank you. And I know that, you did ask for the help of the community, which is so great. And the amazing part about our NutraMetrix community is, you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And I think our NutraMetrix community really showcases that so well. Did anyone ever think that you would be so close to a whole team that you can really call family from Bismarck, North Dakota? Because I didn't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't think I was going to know just about all the people that live in the state of North Dakota. No, and I love them dearly, and I love how close we can feel because of technology. And so if you could just speak to a little bit about what it's like to work with other practitioners, from afar, how you're leveraging this technology, and I'm calling it like your little Jeansnet pod that you guys created. You could speak to that, Val.
All right. First, I'm Val Myers from Bismarck, North Dakota, and I'm a child mental health counselor. And of course, I use the Jeansnet with these ladies at our clinic. When Dr. Nancy formulated this group to try to narrow in on how are we using it, what are some of the pointers we can give each other and stuff like that, I was like, heck yeah, right? We're going to learn from the other smartest people in the world right here, like all in my same thought process. And then I also wanted to share how we're using it, and if I could get any pointers from them of what we're doing.
How long were you using? How long have you been using Jeansnet in your clinic?
Well, since it came out, this one, but
like 2013.
yes,
That's how long this one came out. So
okay,
yeah, mm-hmm.
yeah. At first it was maybe only 10 a year, and now, we do 10 a month at least. So it's.
But you guys like
fabulous.
just one valve on your left and one valve on your right? Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's a remarkable tool, especially for, we don't get trained in genetics in college, just a little bit here and there. And so how easy it is to use, the amount of work that this You did. Oh my gosh, right? And how easy it is for my practitioners to be able to quickly learn it from me, to be able to see what we should recommend for our patients, right?
And your mental health.
We're mental health.
But what's it like? You're not just working with other mental health providers.
Yeah, no, and that's what's awesome about it is we're learning so much from other fields. And I can teach them about how we're looking at the mental health piece to better help our mental health population.
And what is the response from your patients?
It's incredible, right? The Jeansnet allows us, somebody might come to me and look like a highly anxious, depressed person, and the Jeansnet allows me to see, is it a methylation issue? Is it hormonal? Is it both? Stuff like that. And I mean, just an example, this last week I had one, and when we put her results in and then clicked bundles, and right away I could see, within 5 minutes, I saw that her methylation bundle was only at 20%. Her hormonal bundle was at 70%, right? So in that fast, I was like, okay, different regimen right now, but so we could able to see it that quickly, but also in when I get into the mental health piece of it, I have specific SNPs that I look at, and so then when I get it back, I can see, okay, methylation, we got to clean up the toxins in your life. We need to get those B's going, omega, stuff like that. But then we can also, I can see like, oh, okay, so you now have BDNF. We better add in some stuff for BDNF to calm down some of that aggression or impulsivity, right? Yes, and brain health. And or they don't have BDNF, but I'm seeing those symptoms. Okay, you're probably reacting to food more, right? So we're seeing the methylation, the gut issues or whatnot. And that specifics, huge for a practitioner.
And I'm thinking that if it used to take you an hour plus, now maybe you were doing it yourself, and I'm making up numbers here for just illustration purposes. Let's say as a provider, you bill your rates $100 an hour. Now maybe you could have someone in your office at $15 to $20 an hour do that, but now if you take that from an hour to under 5 minutes, I would rather, I don't know about you guys, but I would rather pay my practitioner for the interpretation, the results, and the counseling than pay for data entry. Am I right? Yeah. So, are you also seeing that you can make either a bigger profit margin or be more flexible in your rates with Jeansnet?
Yes, very much so. I can have staff or somebody else be entering everything so that when I get it, I do look at the bundles, the Excel sheet to see what products are the highest. I quickly skim through my mental health cheat sheet to what we're looking at to see what, and then their symptom history. So I can take, I'll maybe look at the Jeansnet for 10 minutes and be able to help somebody that quickly. And for me, it's, we want to keep it at a reasonable price for our patients, but I want to help more patients, right? And so I'd rather be spending my time with the patients and the family, explaining them and educating them, than entering data and trying to understand or trying to find the SNP on the one sheet, right? Because they weren't in the same order.
So everything, just so you guys know, everything is in the exact same order that it is on the DeskBio report. And so it makes it very, very easy. But when we did our little mastermind group, right, what we found out was Val's talking about her staff helping with something. And I think Susan Markowitz said the same thing. She had an intern, and Sherry, my partner, who's a registered nurse and acupuncturist here, Sherry's like, I don't have staff. I have to do it all myself. Yeah. So I think this tool will be particularly helpful for those solo practitioners, small to medium-sized practitioners, to make, to keep them saving time and making more money.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a great product, tool within the field. It helps us get very specific on what actually is going on with the patient. Genetically, lots of people say it runs in the family. Now we can see specifically where it is. In educating them on the environment piece too, environment's impacting you a lot too. Yeah, it's remarkable. Thank you very much. It's
running would help your whole family. Is what I tell people. As someone who's done Jeansnet before now 2 of my pregnancies, I feel really empowered as a mom to know that when I suppress genetic activity, and I know my husband's as well, so when I can suppress his negative genetic potential, it's actually less likely to be passed down in future generations. So this baby is definitely going to be the best baby so far because this is the most genetically optimized baby.
We're not telling Ella and Brody that.
Yeah, don't tell them. Ooh, we'll edit that out of the video.
So we talked about at the beginning about how close we are, right? And one day I'm going through studies because that's what I like to read, right? Is studies, and BDNF has been one of the ones that I've been studying more lately, just because those are our little, yeah, they're the ones that we have a harder time with, right? Anyway, so or you can, and that's what I saw was when you're implementing the right amount of iron during pregnancy, you can maybe allow that not to be passed on during pregnancy. And so I right away took a picture of it and I send it to Dee, right? Because she gets it, right? I'm like, look what I found, right? But it's just such a great family that we have in this Market America world.
I feel just so empowered, and I want to introduce you to Heidi Gruss. Heidi, if you go on her Facebook, she's not new to Market America. You've been on the main stage before. You've talked at the shopping annuity booth. I think your profile picture, if it's not this one, it's one of your last ones, has been at the Motives booth. And I know that as a practitioner also in mental health and counseling that, you spent some time, because we have kids about the same age, but you have some that are a little bit older, and now you're like, well, I want to get back into practice. So how long has your practice been open in Connecticut now?
Just since June.
Just since June. And about how many gene snips have you done?
12.
Yeah. Okay, so 12 since June. So can you speak a little bit to the Jeansnet Mastermind online education and what's going on in your practice?
Yeah, so if you don't know, there was a 12-week Jeansnet Mastermind that was a free resource. That's like a big deal because the amount of content that was in this, from everything from why using the GeneSNP is important, how we're different and better, to how you interpret, how you could potentially use the information with collaborative providers for the clients that you're seeing. It just really opened me up to this is something that I can use as a mental health practitioner because, in our field, it's very subjective what we're doing. You're coming in, you're evaluating a client based off of how you view mental health and the world. And experiences, and there's never usually like blood tests or biological things that we're using in our treatment. And to now introduce a science-based evaluation, it does, and I learned this through the masterclass, and I'm seeing it in my experience. It does boost the compliancy to the intervention that you're putting in place. They say it's 2 times more likely that a client's going to be compliant. And they are, because they can't argue that it's your opinion. They're looking at the factual information. And so that was a big hook for me. And so I'm hearing the information during the master class and then I'm trying it out. I had to swallow and try it, right? And the response was just so refreshing. And what I found was a lot of these clients that I was seeing had been struggling for so long that it didn't matter the price of the test. I was really afraid of the price. I was really afraid. It didn't matter. They wanted the relief from the symptoms. And so I was really giving them an answer. So it became very natural. I put a GeneSNP box on my display on my wall, so then it was right there. It was something I could sort of refer to. It also became something that they started asking me about, so the dialogue just naturally happened. And when someone said to me, I took the B complex for 4 days, and I felt a difference, and I'm like, okay, yeah, of course you did, but it was like, this is really happening here. And in the master class too, there was a great suggestion about, you do the collection, you do the swab, and then what? You're waiting 8 weeks for the results to come back. I would have thought that would have been dead time, right? Just time that I'm going to continue doing what I've always done as a practitioner, which I did direct service before having my own practice. But here, I was like, oh my gosh, I could do an email, weekly email to my clients. I can coordinate a food mood group and bring them in for an 8-week psychoeducation group to prepare them for then their own results. So there were so many different possibilities that were introduced, and it really made this come to life in my practice, and I can see people getting better very quickly. So I'm very, very grateful.
You were doing some networking in your community. You met with another mental health practitioner who carried a genetic test.
Yep.
So share that story.
Yeah, so he's someone who refers a lot of clients my way. He's a psychiatrist, and he was using a gene test that was primarily around how the body would utilize certain medications specific to mental health. And he said, this is great. It's been tremendous. And he said, what are you using? And I said, yeah, it's a little different. It's based around nutragenomics. I was trying to feel him out. What does he know? What doesn't he know? I said, it's 47 genes on 61 variations. And he said, 47? And I said, why? How many
it's
is
48?
Oh, 48. Sorry.
Even more. You should
Even
go
better.
back and tell him.
Yeah, we got one more. Right, it is 48. And so he was like, we only do 17, and then we started to cross-reference, which ones where there was an overlap. And he said, it just makes more sense if I can send them to you, because in the package that I advertise, it includes the counseling, right? So it's not just giving results and saying, go off and get better. It's then, built into their counseling and their sessions to hold some accountability and give them some additional tips, go back to the report that Dr. D made, because there's so many tips on every gene, right? So you can't give them everything all at once. You kind of have to phase it out like we do in NutraMetrics. So it's starting small and then building from there. And I had the time to do the counseling piece. So,
and what has it done for your business in building the shopping annuity, and how are patients responding to then the product recommendations?
Yeah, so the products, 10% is the goal, right? And so starting my practice and building that, along with now building this simultaneously, I think I was checking the other day, 30% of my patients or clients are on product already.
That's awesome.
So, and it's not just because I'm not pushing product, it's because I'm offering a solution, and that's what they see. So that, it's really been seamless, but I am a product of the product. So, they see, me drinking from my Isotonics water bottle, and sometimes even drinking my Turn Up in the afternoon during one of my sessions. So, I think
Can we also speak to the average, ticket price or how many products? Because I know you've done a lot of home presentations, and at the end of it, you might sell a bottle of aloe, a bottle of daily essentials. What is it like now speaking to bundles and regimens?
Yeah, so I haven't gotten to the full bundles yet. I'm working towards that, because I do have the sticker shock piece with some of my clients being primarily Medicaid clients. But there are, just trying to do a quick scan of my clients, I think they're all on at least 2 products. And some of them, it's the daily essentials, which is really 4 products. So, yeah.
That's amazing. We're going to stick around for questions. We don't need to do that, but give it up for our panel, our Jeansnet